Yeah, so I come from an accountancy background, so I'm probably the stage 20 odd years in accountancy. I suppose when I look at it, this whole design thinking, I've a great passion about helping people and making a difference. And this, I'd seen design thinking at work. It was called out in one of the presentations, and just this whole aspect that is human centered, and you're looking at the end user and how you can help them. It really, really intrigued me. So I know it's very different to the world of accountancy and how the accountancy world, but I just think I've a huge passion in that area, and I'm intrigued about people. Any way I can help people, I love the whole idea. Last year on a course in coaching, and I just thought design thinking on this course would give me a way of bringing that maybe into a work environment. So that,
Talking about, making a difference, can you tell us a bit about your project? So as part of this program, we undertake a project in semester 2. Tom, can you tell us a bit about the project you decided to undertake and maybe some of the reasons why?
yeah, so I'll be honest, picking a project was difficult at the start. I come from a accountancy background, so I was looking at maybe a financial side of thing, something that I would be, I suppose, familiar with. And then I looked, when I was picking a project, it was about picking something that mattered to me. So I looked across my life, where did I have problems? And that took me into when I was a kid. So being asked to read in class, and like it was a when I look on it now, it started in primary school. By the time I got to secondary school, it was full blown panic attacks. I used to sit in class, the teacher would ask me to read, I couldn't read the page, it got blurry, you think people are laughing at you. It really impacts your confidence. So picking this project, I wanted to pick something that mattered to me, but something that I could make a difference. And I looked at it that if I could help kids who felt the same as me at school, and really, I suppose, get these kids at a young age where and get them out of the whole anxiety of being put on the spot or the anxiety of performing, get them used to it, and then to that habit that I would have created in primary school into secondary school, because it actually it was something that you called out, Paddy. It actually gets worse over time, because what you do is you will do anything not to be in that situation. So you sit at the back of the class, you put your head down when when teachers been asked to read. So you really start disengaging from class. It takes your enjoyment out of school. Then when you go into the world of work, it's amazing how you create a habit in your mind that it's like a pattern. So you're asked to, I don't know, read something out or present something, and you go straight into that pattern. And what I had done personally myself, I joined Toastmasters, and I noticed that having a place where I felt safe to be able to express myself made a difference. And I could see this was something that could really help children in schools. And I suppose this is what took me to picking the project that I picked.
Very powerful, Tom. And how did you go about, I suppose, trying to address this problem? And in particular, how do you use the likes of design thinking, maybe action design research to tackle it?
Yeah. So I suppose like all problems, I'll be honest, the way you normally do something in life, it's like you, you see your point of view, and that's what you look to solve. But the problem can be is that that isn't the actual problem out there. That could be the problem for you, but is that the problem for kids? So I put together teams. So it's a project team, and it was a collaborative uh, work together. So it wasn't my opinion anymore. So let's say, for example, when we were doing an empathy map, and this was a really strong tool, or even personas as well, in the whole design thinking world, that anything we developed, it was all about, does that suit the persona? So I would have had a persona, the name was Jordan. Jordan was an anxious kid. He was feeling more anxious in class. He was afraid he's going to be asked to read. So that persona I would have picked with our design team. And every time we were designing a program for our kids, we would have used that persona. And as you mentioned, Party, so it was action design research. So the research piece then was delving into all the information initially that was online, all the teaching support information was out there. But then another part, and it's a part probably I've learned hugely from doing this course, is actually reaching out to people. So reaching out and asking teachers, asking parents, asking different government bodies, asking. I had a company in the UK which has run over 60 years. I was speaking to the CEO there, so asking everybody for their ideas and bringing these ideas then back to my team and saying, right, will this work? Will this work for the project putting together? Now, when I say the design team, this was a team that would have come from Toastmasters, people with huge amount of experience. One of them has set up a number of clubs. Another person has wrote a book in the area. So you were getting real good expertise from the group. There was a number of teachers, but it was that sort of broad spectrum of people coming together and just collaborating on each little piece of this program, put it together. And then when the program is put together, it's grand having it. Another great thing about this course was they talked about an artifact. So having something that you can actually use to show to people. And listen, in life, when you're in a work environment, you want to perfect it. So it's not about perfecting it. It's about basically, it's about having a template. So I would have like a different pilots. I would have sent it out to teachers, different bodies that I would have talked to, and got their opinion back on it. So getting that whole feedback. So it's constantly obviously the action. Then that creates the design, and you're constantly the program that you would have had from the start. And just to show you how, I suppose, this whole design research piece, when we did the project at the end, Paddy, and I was putting it down, what I was initially going to be, even something as simple as I didn't want for a program for kids, there was going to be no exam at the end. Whereas going through the process, and not so much as an exam, but more a celebration of learnings. But everything that I would have had initially from my own experience to the program at the end totally changed from spending the time researching it, getting people's ideas, designing it, using an artifact to get building on more and more ideas. But in a sense, the project is still ongoing. So I've got to a point in time, but yeah, I'm still moving ahead with it, and it's something I'm very passionate about. And I just love if even as I know I called out when I was doing the project, but even if one child in school goes to primary school and that level of anxiety that they have in class, that is actually it's relieved or it's lessened. So when they go through school, it's actually a better experience.
Mm. And it's very powerful, Tom, because obviously you're drawing on maybe your own experience. You can really feel the passion in what you're saying. So what sort of what's the nature of your solution to this problem, Tom? Can you tell us a bit about what you're proposing here and what you've actually started to build out?
Yeah. So what I'm looking to do is to get kids, and it's really the most anxious kids in primary school in a classroom environment, that they're taken into a safe environment where they can start learning skills, to be able to feel, it's really to feel comfortable when they're speaking in front of a group. So it's like when I called it out as oral communication apprehension. So it's how to reduce that. Now, as part of the program, I reached out to different government bodies and I asked, was it something that was there? I was told it wasn't. And thankfully, through the program, there was one lady in particular, she's a Toastmaster and a principal. She's put a program together and it's based on the whole class. So what she's doing is she's helping kids who are feeling very anxious and just getting them learning. You're learning new skills. You're trying to change the way you think about stuff. But what she had said to me and really struck a chord. She said that what you're doing is actually unique because when she asked principals in schools to implement her program, a lot of times the teachers are coming back and saying, there's a number of kids in the class I won't ask because they're not ready for it. And they're actually missing out. So what I'm saying is, or the program that I have is, It's using special education teachers. They are actually taking the most vulnerable or most anxious kids out of the class into a more safe environment, maybe four, five, six of them in a little group, and they're starting to learn skills to start feeling more comfortable speaking in front of others. Now it starts very there's three parts to it. When I think there's one bit you're learning skills. So you learn skills speaking and using hand gestures and eye contact. But then there's another piece. Then is the way you think. And like even though personally for me, when you're asked to speak and you do a bad job, it just plays in your mind. It goes over and over and over. So it's changing how you think about speaking. And another bit then is desensitizing. So basically the kids. They're slowly but surely learning skills. Maybe the first time they'll go up. They don't use any words. They just go up and they use their hand gestures of what they're going to do. Another example is they'll watch a video of, say, of a very good public speaker who they think is very good, and then you get them to close their eyes and imagine it's them, and how does it feel like, and you're really building you that change of philosophy or change of
Mm.
how they think it's like. But it's but yeah, so and the really the whole outcome of this at the very end, I don't know how many years it's going to take, but it's to actually get this introduced for teachers when they're training to be teachers. So it'll
Mm.
be in the universities. There's a program there, like that. That's the real end goal. That this whole communication apprehension is basically eradicated from schools. It's basically properly assessed. So at the moment, if a kid is bad at maths or bad at reading, they're helped out to learn words, but nobody is targeting the kids who are feeling anxious for speaking orally. And really, this is the part that I'm trying to, I suppose, improve in kids, improve in the whole education system in general, and bring awareness to it.
Outside of maybe this project, what do you think the highlights were? Maybe they might be highlights of things you learned, or maybe just moments that you remember. You know, what were those highlights?
I suppose for me, it was a sense of it was the human side of things. And when I say that, when I looked at the projects that come out of this course, the projects that people were working on, the passion they had for their projects, they were all about basically helping society. And I suppose I come from a world of accountancy where a lot of it is business minded. Like at the end of the day, you need to make profit. So if you're not making profit, it's not really viable. It's not commercially viable. But everybody moved away. The projects that were there, they were all about helping society. So it was even just this sense of there's this collective spirit of people wanting to help other people. It was just it really touched me, to be honest. And like and the passion people had for it, the emotion that was involved in it, it was yeah, it was very powerful. And another element in the first semester, I was part of a team working on a different project, but we just had real, yeah, even just how we supported each other, how we helped each other, how we all looked out for each other. And it yeah, definitely there was something about the environment, or maybe even the type of people who did this course. They were just uh, really good people, and I felt us,
Mm.
yeah, I just and like part as you call it, like there was a huge amount of learning and tools that we would have got, and but it was more just, I suppose that's just the nature of me. It's more the human side of it that
Mm.
really touched me.
Yeah, yeah, no, very good. You know, Tom, also you were working during this, and I know there's probably again people listening to this recording who are wondering, would they be able to undertake this program while working? Have you any advice or maybe hints and tips for them?
Yeah, listen, it's it's busy. It is busy doing it, but the big thing is you're gradually doing work all the like even that second semester, even the first semester, but both the first semester the project was broken into parts. So we had teams and we were working as we went along. But the second semester it was you basically you're constantly working on it. So instead of leaving stuff to the last minute, which sometimes can happen, but if you constantly work at it and you go to the lectures, you do a lot of reflection, I think that really it makes it easier. What's the phrase? Uh, an inch is hard. No, what's the phrase now? A yard is hard, but inch by inch, everything is a cinch. And really,
Mm,
that's the one big piece of advice I give to anybody: breaking it into smaller parts. And listen, as I say, it is busy, and there will be weekends you're knuckling down, working away at it, but you get a good sense of achievement out of it. A really good sense of achievement. But yeah.
yeah, cool, Tom. And Tom, obviously you have a new set of skills, capabilities here. Um, where to next for you in terms of taking these skills forward and applying them?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Paddy. Like even now, when like you do apply them all the time. Like one big piece of learning I've got from this whole is facilitation, and because you would have had to do it in the groups we put together, and just getting people's ideas out, and even the whole thing about, let's say, at the moment I'm working on Brexit at work. We're working on an IT project, but it's all about looking what we want to get at the end of this, and then really getting people's ideas, challenging people, and not just the loudest person in the room, but basically all the different people in the room. So that's a huge skill I've taken from it. I suppose it probably something previous I would have went, God, this is not something I don't know if I'd be able to do. I don't have the strong personality to quieten the person who's loudest in the room, but it's more. I just think about it differently. Maybe it's just you're thinking you're working collaboratively with people. I'm only here as as an assistant, and really the people are there. It's their ideas to take from them. And I was very 2 weeks ago. I had to put a plan together on a project, and I know hand on heart, if I was asked to do that previously, I'd have done it myself. I'd have put the plan together. I wouldn't have asked people for their opinion. I would have put the plan together and then showed people the plan. Whereas now, when he's working that plan, I call the whole team together. So let's see what works for people, and you get that collaborative involvement. That's how I examples have implemented in my current work. But longer term, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to get more design thinking in a role that I'm working on. So at work, we would have different objectives. So I say I have an accountancy background, so a lot of my objectives on that area, but it's just adding in this design thinking and just getting more experience doing it. And then hopefully further down the line, then get a role doing it fully.
Yeah. And Tom, and I'm just conscious of time, any
Yeah.
final thoughts or words that you want to add to what you've already said, which I think will be very valuable to people listening to this?
I suppose the one big thing I would take from this course is, okay, you've got the different design thinking tools and ADR and all the different approaches and what you learn, but it's really what you learn outside that. It's sort of it's I'd even say it's made me more resilient. It's made me more reflective in life. It's like when I say that, for example, this whole thing about it's hit me, I suppose, the last couple of weeks from finishing the course, but not taking stuff personally, even thinking more longer term. If you do get setbacks in life, there's just you can, I suppose, bounce back from them. So the biggest takeaways I would take from the course is just on that sort of personal side for me. I know I've learned these skills in design thinking, but it's the stuff that you don't see on the page. That's the stuff that you've
Mm,
learned. It makes your life better in a sense. It even gives you a sense of the world is a good place, even from all these different projects people worked on. So yeah, it's just like when I first joined the course, and I was looking at all the different aspects of it. These weren't things I would have thought I'd have learned. So it's yeah, it's just the type of course that it is. It's you get so many learnings from different people, from different personalities, that I don't know if you'll see in too many courses throughout Ireland. It's just this. There's a sense of freedom, even projects we're working on, just to sort of see passion, see ideas, see. It's just real innovative stuff. But yeah.